April 20th, 1992. Wembley Stadium, London, 6 o'clock in the evening. The gates have been open for an hour, and 72,000 people have already filled every seat, every terrace, every square foot of standing room. The noise is physical. You can feel it in your chest before you hear it with your ears. Brian May is backstage. Roger Taylor is backstage. And John Deacon is backstage, in a corridor, holding a bass guitar he has not played in public since Freddie Mercury died 5 months ago. This is the night they are going to give Freddie the biggest send-off in history. This is also the night John Deacon will speak his last public words. Brian May had the idea the night Freddie died. He has said this in interviews. He said they decided, in the hours after the call came through on November 24th, 1991, that they would give Freddie an exit in the true style to which he was accustomed. A concert. Not a small concert, the largest possible concert. Wembley Stadium, because Wembley was where Queen had played the greatest set in Live Aid history in 1985. The night that everyone who was there says was the moment they understood what Freddie Mercury was. The lineup for tonight is everything that phrase implies. David Bowie, Elton John, George Michael, Annie Lennox, Axl Rose, Robert Plant, Liza Minnelli, Metallica, U2, Def Leppard. Every significant name in popular music has said yes. They have all said yes because Freddie Mercury was the kind of person who made saying yes feel like the only possible answer. The concert is being broadcast live to 73 countries. 1 billion people will eventually see some version of this night. It is the largest AIDS awareness event in history. And before any of it begins, John Deacon has to walk to a microphone and say something. John Deacon is 40 years old. He joined Queen in 1971 as the fourth and final member, the youngest, the quietest, the one who stood at the edge of the stage while Freddie owned the center. He wrote Another One Bites the Dust. He wrote You're My Best Friend for his wife Veronica, a song about exactly what the title says. He wrote I Want to Break Free. He built the DC amp, a homemade amplifier made from spare parts, and Brian May used it to create guitar orchestras on some of Queen's most remembered recordings. John Deacon made things. He made them quietly, and he made them well. And then he stepped back. Freddie Mercury saw something in John Deacon that the world did not always see. Freddie took him under his wing from the beginning. This is documented. Freddie saw through the quiet exterior to the fiery streak beneath. He said as much in a 1976 interview, warning people not to underestimate John. And over 20 years, Freddie became not just John's bandmate, but his anchor. The person who helped John cope with the pressures of being in one of the largest bands on earth. The person who made the whole impossible enterprise feel possible. When Freddie died, John Deacon lost his anchor. The 6 months between November 1991 and April 1992 are months John Deacon has never spoken about. We know the outline. He released a statement after Freddie's death. As far as we are concerned, this is it. There is no point carrying on. It is impossible to replace Freddie. That is the most John Deacon has ever said about losing Freddie Mercury in one place. 6 sentences. He meant every word. He still means them. Roger Taylor has said he was severely traumatized. Brian May has said he was quite delicate all along, more sensitive to stress than the others. What this looked like from the inside, John Deacon has never told anyone. Brian May opens the evening. He walks to a microphone at the center of the Wembley stage with 72,000 people roaring around him, and he says they are going to give Freddie the biggest send-off in history. The crowd responds the way crowds respond when someone says the true thing out loud. Then, Roger Taylor speaks. A few words. Warm, brief, Roger. And then Roger hands the microphone to John Deacon. And the stadium watches, and John Deacon leans in. Hello, he says. His voice is barely audible above the crowd. He continues. He thanks the artists who have given their time and energy. He says the band is grateful. And then looking at his bandmates, and then back at the 72,000 people who are watching him, he says, "The show must go on." He introduces Metallica. He steps back from the microphone. He picks up his bass guitar. And for the next 3 hours, until the last note of "We Are the Champions" has faded, and Liza Minnelli has sung, and David Bowie has knelt on the stage, and George Michael has made 50,000 people cry, John Deacon plays every song. He does not leave the stage. This is the detail that matters. John Deacon did not want to be at Wembley. John Deacon did not believe the show should go on. John Deacon had told the world in November that it was over, that there was no point. And yet he stood at that microphone and he said, "The show must go on." He said it because it was what Freddie would have said. He said it because the Mercury Phoenix Trust needed this night to raise money for AIDS research. He said it because the 72,000 people in that stadium were there for Freddie, and Freddie deserved every single one of them. John Deacon said it for all of those reasons. And then he stepped back and let the night happen around him. 3 hours of music. 47 performers. Queen backing every act that came to the stage. John Deacon anchoring the bass beneath all of it. You can watch the footage. You can see him. He is there in every frame, steady, focused, present, but his face tells you something that the music cannot quite contain. He is holding something that is too large to hold. He is doing this because it needs to be done, and because Freddie needs it, and because 72,000 people need it. He is not doing it because he is okay. He is not okay. The last song of the night is "We Are the Champions." Liza Minnelli sings it. The entire stadium sings it. The entire stadium knows every word. And when it ends, when the last note fades, and the lights come up full and 72,000 people are on their feet, the 3 surviving members of Queen stand together at the front of the stage. Brian May. Roger Taylor. John Deacon. Roger Taylor says, from his position at the drum kit, "Thank you and good night." Brian May plays a chord. John Deacon stands and looks at the crowd for a long moment. Then he turns and he walks off the stage. What happened after, in the dressing rooms and the corridors of Wembley Stadium that night, is something only 3 people know. Whatever was said or not said between Brian May and Roger Taylor and John Deacon in the hours after the concert, the record shows only this: John Deacon never spoke in public again. He has not given an interview. He has not attended a premiere. He has not appeared at an award ceremony. He has not spoken at a press conference. The word hello spoken at a microphone in Wembley Stadium at 6 o'clock in the evening on April 20th, 1992. His voice barely audible above the crowd is the last word John Deacon has ever said to the public. After that, silence. There is a footnote, because there is always a footnote. John Deacon played at Queen, one more large concert, Wembley, April 1992. He played a smaller charity event in 1993 at Cowdray House. He played one song in Paris in January 1997, "The Show Must Go On," and afterwards told Brian and Roger he could never do this again. He recorded one final track in October 1997, "No One But You, Only the Good Die Young." He put down his bass. He walked out. That was the last note. After which, 32 years of silence. 32 years, and counting. 32 years from hello to nothing. April 20th, 1992. Wembley Stadium. 6 o'clock in the evening. John Deacon leans toward a microphone in front of 72,000 people and says a single word. Hello. He says it softly. He says it like someone who knows he is saying it for the last time. And then the night begins, and the music plays, and 3 hours later, John Deacon walks off the Wembley stage and disappears. The word stays. The word is still there. 72,000 people heard it. 1 billion people saw the broadcast. And somewhere in South London, in a house bought with the first Queen paycheck, a man who wrote some of the most recognizable bass lines in history is raising his 6 children and not saying anything to anyone. The show went on. He let it go.